Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Throwdown for the week of November 21st, 2020. I'm Caleb Black. This is Luke the Big Dog Williams. That is our in-studio producer. That's our in-studio producer, the mighty Max Fury. And it's time for Top 5. Max posed an interesting Top 5. Top 5 prettiest finishers in pro wrestling. Now, we're only talking singles finishers.
Yes.
No submissions, no tag finishers, no stupid gimmicked worked finishers with weapons.
They have to be exactly what it said. The prettiest
finishers, in our opinion.
And finish, not setups for finishers.
Yeah, no. The finishing maneuver itself.
Not a move you're known for, your finishing maneuver.
Yep, I agree. I'm going to start us off. Number 5, the Diamond Cutter. Was never not pretty.
Ever.
And I don't even know if it should be in the 5th. You'd probably be lower on the list. But DDP could hit that bad mamma jamma out of anything, out of anywhere. Bang!
I think if you're going to use the Diamond Cutter, you should also incorporate the RKO. It's basically
RKO is a different move.
No. It's basically the same thing.
RKO is a different move, and this is why. The way the maneuvers are hooked. Diamond Dallas Page hooks it standing and drops straight down. Randy Orton comes up off of his feet, hooks, and then pulls down. Two completely different moves.
That's like saying the Ace Crusher and the Stunner are two different moves.
They are. The Ace Crusher is not the Ace Crusher is a bump to the back for the person giving it. The Stunner's a bump to the ass.
At that point, it's also about
different things. Different things, man.
Maximus, you're number 5.
Number 5, I got to go with Roman Reigns' spear.
Oh, it is a pretty spear.
He has one of the prettiest spears I've seen.
I agree. I completely agree.
Better than Goldberg, who is most known for the spear.
I think Goldberg's looks...
Edge had a really, really good one, but I think Roman's got, I think the best one.
I think Goldberg's looks a little bit more real because it's just a 300-pound guy running into you as hard as possible, but Roman's is definitely pretty.
Roman hits it like a missile.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
I agree.
My number 5, I'm going to go a step further. The Gore.
Rhino's Gore,
Rhino's Gore,
one of the probably the best spear in the business.
And there is a difference in the way those moves are hit.
Well, yeah, and like you said, Roman Reigns, Edge, Goldberg, my pick, Rhino, they're all different because they're executed differently.
Agreed. Exactly. I totally agree with that. Raven's Even Flow DDT for my number 4. Pretty because it was fluid. He never botched it. He never fucked it up. He would hook. He would hit the arms, hook, straight drop.
Yeah, very
different from Jake's DDT because Jake would crane in and drop.
Well, and Jake's was never pretty.
No, it was supposed to be ugly.
Yeah.
But Raven's Even Flow DDT is probably one of the prettiest DDTs in the business.
My next one, I'm going to go. Me and you were talking about this yesterday. Who was it? The shooting star press. Billy Kidman. Billy Kidman, shooting star press.
One of the prettiest moves from the top rope.
Absolutely, just phenomenal.
Agreed.
Yeah. Me, honestly, my number 4, I think I'm at.
No. Yeah, 4.
Brock Lesnar's F5.
Always pretty.
The way he used to sling those guys, man. Pretty.
Just tossing you. Just okie doking the shit out of you. I'll tell you what, not a lot of people think about it. I think it's a pretty move. The way he hits it, Monty Brown's pounce.
I was just thinking that.
Because of the way he comes into it, the way it looks like a full-on hardcore shoulder tackle, but it's his execution. Nobody else hits it the way
You only come up with that because we talked about okie doking somebody in that.
That's exactly what it was. He knocked the shit out of him.
Maximus, number 3.
My number 3. Well, I've got several in my head that I want to go through right now, but I've got my top number 3 in my head, so I'm going to go with number 3, Tombstone Piledriver.
Oh, yeah, pretty.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, pretty. There's no argument that can be made against that.
Especially the way the Undertaker used to do it, when he'd jump up and come down on his knees rather than just doing the toe raise.
It's vicious, it's beautiful, it's dangerous.
It's a work of art.
That's my number 3.
My number 3, while not the most effective move, the People's Elbow was always pretty.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Not the most effective, granted, but and we had to talk about this at the bar the other night. The People's Elbow, and for people who are watching this, was the Rock's finish.
Yes, it was. The Rock Bottom was not his finisher. It was the setup.
The Rock Bottom was kicked out of. The People's Elbow is only, in my recollection, only been kicked out of by 2 men, Hulk Hogan and John Cena. And
Austin.
That's it.
Austin has kicked out of the...
Austin kicked out, 3. Yeah. Out of the history of him using it, 3 people.
Yeah.
People's Elbow.
I agree. Number 2, is that what I'm on? Number 2? Macho Man's elbow drop.
Oh,
The prettiest elbow drop in the business.
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know if I can say prettiest.
Okay. An argument could be made for a prettier elbow drop, but really,
I can think of two.
okay,
if not prettier.
Who do you think?
As pretty? Kiri Sane.
I was thinking Kerry Sane.
Prettier, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels slap the arm elbow drop.
I don't know.
Pretty. What we're talking?
It's pretty. Well, we'll say I'll concede you. Shawn Michaels had a pretty elbow drop.
I mean, he come off, he slapped the arm into position. It was a whole thing.
Yeah.
Effective? Not as effective.
No, because that's just Macho Man drilling with a fucking elbow in the chest.
I have to watch him drop it right in the Diesel's
right in
neck
the throat. Yeah.
Maximus, number 2.
Number 2, gonna be Sweet Chin Music.
That was gonna be your number 1, wasn't it?
I know.
No, actually, it wasn't, but it is. It was up there. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
several. There's still several on my list.
And by the way, we're going to make the distinction, not the super kick.
No,
the Sweet Chin Music.
Those are different moves.
Not just the super kick. Shawn Michaels throwing the Sweet Chin Music.
I agree.
My number 2 actually was just dropped in the chat on Twitch, and that's the Swanton Bomb.
Jeff Hardy's
Swanton Bomb.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The way that man would jump, get completely vertical, and then cut right at the last second. It gets no prettier.
I agree. I think an argument for the prettiest finisher in wrestling.
All right, is this your number 1?
This is my number 1, with the exception of the fact that it is so oversaturated. Petey Williams' Canadian Destroyer.
It's up there.
The first ever front flip kick pile driver.
It's up there.
The person who made it famous, the person who hits it the absolute best. Gotta be the fucking... And it looks just... Not only is it beautiful and an athletic spectacle, but it looks like it would fucking murder you. Gotta go with the Canadian Destroyer.
Definitely.
I think that's an argument that can be made.
Maximus, your number 1.
Well, I'm gonna throw an honorable mention to the prettiest frog splash in the business, Jimmy Superfly Snuka.
I don't know if it was prettier than Eddie Guerrero's.
Well, his wasn't really a frog splash, was it? It was just
Snuka's
was just a flat splash.
So
and by the way,
prettier than any of them. I want to throw those honorable mention in there. But my number 1, I'm sure it's no surprise, RKO.
And actually,
actually legitimately, and I do that, jokingly. It's become sort of a gimmick,
but it is a beautiful move. Yeah.
One of the prettiest things I have ever seen, and he throw it out of absolutely nowhere. I don't care
throw
what
it anywhere.
Says.
Yeah. Also, an honorable mention before I give you my number 1. Honorable mention when you were talking about frog splashes, and you said something about Eddie Guerrero. The best frog splash ever done, was by a man named Art Barr, who originated the frog splash. Because when he'd go for the frog part, his knees would come up like
to his
a frog.
to his chest and come in.
And I mentioned Snuka's splash specifically because I remember it off the top of the cage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, I remember just watching him glide.
Yeah.
And
he
just
like a
bird.
What's the sugar glider?
Yeah.
Like he looked like one coming down. Yeah.
But my number 1, prettiest, I think, in professional wrestling. It's going to be a surprise.
Okay.
Vader's moonsault from the top rope.
That's fair.
Is at the time when the move was big, was the biggest move in professional wrestling.
Yeah, and he was the biggest guy doing it.
To do it, yes.
And he was 300 plus pounds, and a beautiful backflip into it.
Now,
yeah, I get it.
That I've stated that. There is another honorable mention that doesn't get enough play. I think we are all in agreement. One of the prettiest moves in professional wrestling was Chris Benoit's diving headbutt.
Oh yeah, I think it's even prettier than the Dynamite Kid's knee drop.
Yeah.
That was a pretty move. But yeah, I think the Benoit flying headbutt was fucking a work of art.
Like I said, my number 1, Vader Salt.
Agreed. Yeah. All right, guys, that wraps us up for the top 5. Let us know what you think some of the top 5 prettiest finishers are. You can do that a variety of ways. Check out our About section. Facebook at facebook.com/ProWrestlingThrowdown. Email us at ProWrestlingThrowdown@gmail.com. Find us on Twitter at ProWrestlingTD. Follow us on Twitch at ProWrestlingThrowdown. Stay tuned. We got more videos.
Do you feel better now?
I do.
Okay.
Got a little robot voice. Stay tuned. Got more videos dropping.